excited because it's not raining.
2 years ago, our lives changed forever. It all started with a phone call. "There's a boxer puppy," they said. "He has no front legs." I bolted past Mark and blurted, "I have to go pick him up." Mark didn't even blink, just said, "Okay." But I wasn't sure if he really understood what I'd said. An hour or two later, I walked through our door holding this tiny, fragile thing. Mark took one look and his eyes widened. "How are we going to do this?" he asked. To be honest, I didn't know. Dogs like this, they don't usually survive. But there he was, staring up at us, fighting just to exist.
He's walking good.
Okay, now.
We scrambled to figure everything out, what to feed him, how to keep him comfortable. We didn't think Nubby would even make it through that first night. It was a night we'll never forget. We stayed up in shifts, waking every hour to check on him.
What are you talking about?
It was like having a newborn all over again, but even harder. And then he took a turn for the worse. We rushed him to the ICU. We almost lost him. But Nubby, he didn't give up, not for a second. When he recovered, we knew we had a fighter on our hands. He wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. We looked at each other and said, "He's really gonna make it." Nubby was determined to move, so we built him a tiny wheelchair out of Legos. And just like that, he scooted across the floor with this unstoppable energy. From the very beginning, he was a happy little guy. But soon he started trying to stand. That's when it hit him. He didn't have front legs. It was heartbreaking to watch him fall. My first instinct was to rush over and pick him up every time. But I knew Nubby needed to learn how to move on his own, so we let him figure it out. And he did. Mark grew especially attached to Nubby. I'd catch him carrying Nubby around like a suitcase to keep his legs strong. We built feeding stands and anything else he needed, whatever it took.
Nubby, you playing with this?
Then Nubby discovered something amazing. He could launch himself off things. It didn't matter that he was missing 2 legs. Nubby just thought, "This is how I do it." This is how he rolled, literally. We tried getting him wheels, more professional ones this time, but Nubby, he hated them. The second set hated those too. But then, something incredible happened. The first time Nubby saw a child, he figured out that his wheels could help him get to them faster. And in that moment, everything clicked. Once he got his exercise in, we'd let him out of his wheels and he'd go buck wild. His whole body would shake with excitement. Over time, Nubby's personality only grew bigger. And his ears, they got floppier and floppier until they practically had a life of their own. He's a little maniac in the best way. And don't be fooled by his innocent look. He's sneaky, he plots, and he has a partner in crime, Rita. When we brought Rita into the house, they bonded instantly. It was like they'd been waiting for each other. To Nubby, the world isn't any different. He doesn't see limitations, he sees life. We didn't know what this journey would take, but once you make that commitment to a pet, to anyone, it's your job to give them the best life possible. So we adjusted everything. We made sure Nubby never felt different. Our grandson Lenny grew up with Nubby, and to him, Nubby isn't the dog with no front legs. He's just Nubby. You walk into a room, and they're there together side by side looking at you like, "What do you want? We're busy." Their bond, it's unbreakable. The only competition? Rita? But Nubby's story doesn't stop there. In Texas, we have a huge overpopulation problem. Too many stray dogs, too few homes. So, we decided to do more. We rescued a pregnant mom who'd been living on the street. She gave birth, and now we have 6 puppies looking for homes.
Hey. Where'd you get that?
We've started our own nonprofit to educate and support the community. We want people to understand what rescue means and how it can change lives for both animals and people. The highlight of Nubby's life? Meeting kids. If you can teach compassion early, it shapes who they become. And Nubby? He's living proof that differences don't define us. Just because someone has a limb difference or any difference doesn't mean they can't have an incredible life. Every day Nubby reminds us of that. He could give up, but that's not what Nubby does. Instead, he gives hope.